everyone, and welcome to Everybody and Their Grandma's podcast. I'm your host, Damien. We're gonna have a good time. We're on another car cast. You guys seem to like the last one, and the car, despite the noise of the the heater that was going off, because like I said, it was negative below. Will be very minimalized this time because we actually got a little bit of a warm front today, so that's always fun. So yeah, we're in the car today in another car cast. I don't think the audio quality really was that bad on like the last ones. I mean, some people might think that, but then again, that they're probably audiophiles, and who needs them listening to a podcast? I'm just kidding. This is an amateur podcast. You have to expect bad mic sounds. I'm sure all the greats out there didn't even start with a real what's the word I'm looking for? Like a real microphone before anything else. And honestly, I think using my phone to record this is a really great way to record something. Like, we really forget, I think, a lot of times that we have the voice recorder on the phone. And then your phone is like a microphone to take with you anywhere. I don't know if you guys are into conspiracy theories and shit like that, but maybe they're watching us. Oh no, they're keeping an eye on us. They're keeping an eye on us through our phones. Especially with the camera thing. So it always makes you wonder. So a lot of people, they do the thing where they cover up their laptop camera with a piece of tape, because they don't want anybody spying at them, breaking into their laptop camera view and spying on them while they're doing stuff. That certainly does happen, but from what I've seen, it seems to be more unprotected webcams that are always hooked up or always running, or like security systems and stuff like that. Those are always the ones that I see, at least online, that people break into. You get a little bit of voyeurism in there, and you get a little bit of just creeping on people to see what's actually happening and going on. So I don't know about that, but more to the point, obviously, how come nobody covers up their cell phone cameras with pieces of paper? I know maybe some people might take a piece of tape over it, but then it looks kind of ugly, and then how do you then send images to then people when you have everything covered up? Or even better yet, how would you plug up your microphone? Because if you have an audio recorder, it's not like anybody can activate that program remotely from your phone, if that is a thing. Now, I could be completely off on how this tech actually works, and I know more of my tech-savvy audience listeners out there, they'll probably tell me that I'm a big fucking idiot, and that I'm completely wrong on how cell phone cameras work / audio recorders work versus say your laptop. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, other than that, I don't know. Well, we got some rambling down there. What do we normally do on these things? Well, normally I think we start by talking about the last week. Well, obviously I put out the last podcast really late because I wasn't too sure on how politically decisive it would be, unfortunately. Talking about a guy like Hitler on the last episode is pretty touchy, I think. It's a touchy subject. I know, even just writing the review part that I've been writing in sort of paper form, my one editor friend, he said, I'll read it, but I'll probably disagree with the subject and stuff like that. So yeah, and I was surprised to hear that some people actually did like it and decided to listen to it. And a lot of people were surprised to see that the podcast is now on YouTube. Once again, it's on YouTube, but there's that, of course. And so, well, what happened recently? I mean, I really worked all this weekend. It was pretty fucking lame. I missed what was it? I missed Saturday just because I slept through my alarm, and then I pretty much decided by the time I would get ready and get to work that it wasn't worth it to come into work. But then I find out, the next day, and then, obviously today too, because we're recording on a Monday for once, which is odd, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. I find out that, they could have gave me more hours and shit like that. Well, how come nobody nobody said this to me in the first place before I said I wasn't coming in. Well, either way, that's just what happens sometimes. But whatever. It was a weekend. I did manage to beat Bully over the weekend. Interesting game. Where I paused the last time, I only had maybe not even an hour of game time left, and so that was entertaining. It kind of ends, I don't know, it ends abruptly, which I mean makes sense for Bully, I guess, end of the school year, and everything's perfect at the end, but it was a short game. It was only maybe I got it done in probably less than 24 hours or 20 hours, but it was fun. I had a lot of fun with Bully. I'm trying to think of what my favorite part was. I think something like the panty raid was a pretty good mission. But, and then also I think the whole ending boss, here's some spoilers for you, the whole ending boss fight where you fight on top of the tower, the Bullsworth Tower, that was pretty entertaining and stuff like that. It was a great way to do a climax of a great game. So that was a lot of fun. I just was sad that it ended so abruptly. If I had realized that I had, what was it, not maybe 20 minutes of game time left, I would have just kept playing the one night that I had stopped previously. I didn't realize how close to the end I was, and I guess there were signs that I should have seen coming, but that's okay. You can't always guess them when they pop up. So that was fun. What else have I been doing with my week? Just more reading, trying to get shit done. Putting on applications, because as you all know, I'm looking for a professional career, something in my field. So that's been fun. I put out a couple applications. I think that was Friday or Saturday. That was interesting. Hopefully I hear back from them. I'm going to be putting out some more tonight, so that's always a good plan. What else did I do? I really don't do a whole lot during the week, especially when I have to work and I don't have really any days off. And unfortunately, I think this coming week here is going to be another week just full of days filled up with stuff and not enough time to really do anything super interesting. Besides this weekend. This weekend should be interesting. Should be a good time. Let's see here. What else? I just worked a lot. There's not really a whole lot else to say anymore on the week. I play Warframe a lot. Warframe's been fun. I'm completing quests in that, but it definitely shows that it is play to win. Or, sorry, not play to win. Obviously, you play to win in any game, but it's definitely pay to win. You unfortunately have to pay to get better Warframes and shit like that, because a lot of the blueprints and stuff like that have these weird parts that who knows how anybody's gonna get those. So that's always fun. But what I've been told is you should just wait until you get a discount on Platinum, and then just buy a fuck ton of it because you get a decent discount. So that's probably what I'm going to do. I'll invest a little bit of money into it. I mean, it is a free game, and so I have been enjoying the hours, the decent amount of hours of game time I have been getting. So yeah, I will definitely put money into it because I do think it's a good game, and a lot of the maps are just fucking amazing. There's so much detail in a lot of these maps that you go to. Some of them they reuse a bunch of them, but the ones that they do use are, pretty in-depth. There's all these, little interesting, hidey holes and hiding spaces for items and stuff like that, because you grind for items and stuff like that. But, yeah, it's a good game. So I'd say definitely, if you're interested in Warframe, definitely pick up Warframe, because there's no better game to play as a sexy robot, maybe besides Nier Automata. There's no better game to play as a sexy robot than Warframe. And then you get to customize them and shit too, and so that's always really fun. Yeah. Well, let's see here. We've got at least 25 minutes, 30 minutes here till I get home. So, what's our topic today? I really didn't think of a topic at all today. I just decided to do a car cast because I thought it would be an interesting try to do another car cast and maybe actually put it out on time for once. So, here's your car cast. I don't know. I guess I'll just sort of talk about things that have sort of been on my mind as I normally do with these things. I think the big thing recently has been the economy boom. I would say that the supposed Trump's presidency has created. Now, I'm always really skeptical when it comes to economy booms and stuff like that, and the news, at least the news sources that are for Trump will always say, it's not Trump, this, that, and the other thing, the news sources for Trump are going to say that it's Trump, and that his change in policies and stuff like that has actually made a difference in, the economic front. And I don't know how I feel about that. There's been a lot of change in just the way, not companies have been doing business, but the revenue they make. And China's another one of those markets that seems, from little snippets I've gotten here and there, that China's market's once again growing and more companies are doing more things, so they're bringing in more revenue. Now, this could obviously have a massive effect on the U.S. economy. But I was thinking it comes more down to, what's the word I'm looking for? It's, obviously it's speculation, but optimism. I'd say there's definitely maybe a lot more optimism in the economy at this point. And the weird thing about something like an economic market is that optimism goes a long way. I wish I would have looked up something beforehand before talking about this subject, but that's one of those things that it really makes a difference at how positive somebody is about a market per se. So even with say something like the recent Bitcoin market, there's a lot of expectation that it's going to be worth a lot in this that and the other this that and the other thing. So There's a positive outlook that the currency will grow, and what happens is because there's a positive output or idea that the currency will grow, more people then are willing to, invest in it, and I think that, parallels with the American economy right now, where people are in a really good mood, so they want, they're fired up about, either whether it be Trump's tax plans or the president's, what's the word I'm looking for? The president's, where he's slashing restrictions and stuff like that, but adding a new one for every 22nd of them. And so, I think people are generally becoming more positive. I think I saw one article that explained that a lot of the things that Trump is cutting out of out of these restrictions and stuff like that, out of these bills and stuff, is but post 2008 housing crash. Now, obviously, or 2009 housing crash or 2008, I can never remember, but essentially the housing bubble, housing crash market. We implemented a lot of safeguards and stuff like that to the market after that happened, because we were fucking scared that you can make money off of what is essentially no money at all. And the openness of the housing market and stuff like that really scared us. So I think we definitely had a negative attitude towards sort of the economic class or the investors and bankers and stuff like that. So a lot of the stuff he's cutting are these restrictions that made sense sort of at the time of what's the word I'm looking for? At the time of the Depression or the recession that we had. I would almost call it a depression because shit dropped real low. But, at the time of the recession. And I'm thinking, it's been about 10 years. Things tend to level out. Things can level out, over a 10-year period. 10 years is a long time, but in an econ sense, it's really not. Especially, involving GDP and stuff like that. But I think that's the biggest thing is now Trump, our president, is cutting, not our president if you're listening in a foreign country, obviously, but sorry, I digress, but he's slashing these old, recession ideas that we banked on to help, keep our economy stable. And I think, almost like training wheels. I'll use that analogy too. I like that. I like the idea of training wheels. And so, we're sort of stuck with these training wheels, so we couldn't, really fall in one direction or the other. But, they're not only are they training wheels, but they're, also something to keep us, pumped up. So I think by cutting, a lot of these policies and stuff like that existed post recession, I think that I really do think it's a good call. I think a lot of people are ready for sort of something new and not to have this negativity on top of the economy anymore, which I think really is what really drives it. Which brings me back to sort of expectations and optimism of the market and stuff like that. And plus if I look to foreign markets, because I like to look at foreign markets too. China's middle class has been growing, so there's more consumers there too. Plus, I think American income has increased along with what is it? The unemployment rate. The unemployment rate has gone down. Now, is it due to more people finding jobs because there's more, openness to jobs? Or is it because people have become a little bit more optimistic and they're more willing to go out and get a job, whereas before they, sat and maybe sulked and didn't really want to find a job? These are the hard questions that you have to ask yourself. You have to a lot of times look at what correlates and certain causations and stuff like that. But I think to attribute it just to the president, I think is a little bit, as some do. I'm always skeptical on that level, but I always find that I'm skeptical when you pin it on one person and you go, oh, this is so great that they did this, and this, and this. Well, it's only as great as the response that the public's going to have, especially in a democracy or our capitalist market that we have, where people will want to spend more and stuff like that. But yeah, I've just been thinking about how the economy's been changing a little bit, and it's such a broad term to use, economy, but it makes sense that we'd now be sort of in maybe this bump. People like to call it the Trump bump because it rhymes and it sounds good, but I think people are just a little bit more excited about the changing economy. And Trump, even, sorry to return to Trump, but I think even a lot of his campaign speeches were these things to really get you fired up about our economy and stuff like that, and how, and sort of the things he said and how he would change it, and ideas like that. And so, I mean, on the one level, it's good to see that he's sticking to cutting a lot of these policies that are essentially what would be called a recession era policy, and to let maybe, what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, not more risky investments, but definitely leave it open for more willingness to try things. And I think a lot of the recession era policies, and I hate to say Obama's policies, but he was the president at the time, so he does get the ultimate choice in that. Well, not really, but the Senate and the House and stuff get the ultimate choice, but he does get the ultimate choice in that. So sort of these recession era policies and sort of Obama's policies to sort of safeguard and I think protect our the various markets and the economy, I don't think are appropriate anymore. I think we're past that, and we can do that a little bit, as long as hopefully we remember what happened before with the housing market and like these mortgages that literally were built up on nothing. So I mean, that's always fun. Yeah, I was that's one of the things I was thinking about. I was just having a good time with it, thinking about it, but nobody ever wants to really talk about politics or the economy, really. So I can't find a decent outlet at work to express it. So might as well do it in the podcast. I think it's a good way to get more messages out. Like I said on probably the very first show. Yeah. What else has been on my mind? Just that whole side. This morning I was reading about the pedophile elite. That was interesting, but not, I don't think an appropriate topic for this show unless we really wanted to dig into conspiracy theories. maybe a show for a different time. What is it? Oh, my job thing. So my current job that I work at, just today even, one of the managers comes up and, the beans have been spilt that I'm switching here soon to somewhere else. And he goes, what can we do to keep you? And he gives me 2 options, and none of those options were things that I wanted. I don't want to be a full-time bagger. I don't like bagging in the first place. I only did it because I thought I would have room to move up. So there's that. And I completely, unfortunately, forgot to say to him, that's not an option. And then, of course, retaking a test to get up a level. And then it would be, well, it's not guaranteed that I would move anywhere. Well, once again, I completely forget to say in the moment, that's not good enough. I need a guarantee that it's going to do something for me. And if it doesn't, well, then you're shit out of luck and I'm still going to leave. Like, that's just how it works. So, I retook the math test, and I also put in my 2-week notice. So, I'm kind of pushing them a little bit, which is always something I think is a good business practice to do. Is you want to push your management / your bosses and stuff like that, because if you're not going to, nobody's going to do it. Nobody's going to do it in your favor. Like, nobody's going to come up and say, "Oh, I think you deserve, a raise and stuff like that." You have to fight and claw for it. And unfortunately, I was kind of feeling guilty about it yesterday because I had the word entitled running through my head, and entitled has now gained such a negative connotation in our world because of the whole SJW movement and the idea of rich kids and stuff like that. I certainly don't feel entitled to the position. That entitled is too strong of a word, but I definitely do feel like I deserve it. Like, my experience and stuff like that, it should have been a thing right from the beginning, and I'm just not sure why it is. But yeah, I think entitled's a strong word, and I even hate to use the word entitled because then it poisons the ideascape of what I'm trying to go for. But I work hard, and I work up for, and I try and work up for things, and I expected to be at the bottom, but you just have to keep fighting. You have to put in that willpower, which frustrates me to no end. But hey, this certainly is something. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens with that. Maybe things will turn around and they'll scramble and get their asses in gear a little bit here. But I don't think so because they're so crippled on a corporate level at this place. So that'll be fun. But yeah, I definitely do appreciate my manager, and it's not like I'm unappreciative of one of the managers coming and saying, "Oh, hey, how can we get you to say this, that, and the other thing?" And I wanted to look at him and say, "Listen, you're 2 to 3 months late on this. I've been dealing with this for the past 2 months, and unfortunately, nothing was ever said to me, this and that, and I only maybe even found out like a week ago that I could retake, the certain tests that I had to do. Sorry I'm talking so vague. It's not very interesting for you guys when I talk vague like that, but it's true. But I do appreciate him trying to help me. I'm not very, I'm very, I try to be very humble and appreciative of the things that happen to me or things that, when people try and help. So, I was thankful for that, but, he learned the difficulties that I've been dealing with for 2 months. So I was making faces at him while he was talking to the people because, he got the same rigmarole that I did. So that's always fun. I don't want to end this on a downer note. What can I say today? Oh yeah, crazy people at self-checkouts. Now there's a real big issue. You must have to be smart enough or something like that. You must have I think you gotta have not an IQ above a certain amount. Oh my god, I get into a Rick and Morty meme, but you just gotta be, I don't know. It's not even tech savvy. You just gotta be, quick-witted almost. Not even quick-witted because the machines are so slow. You almost have to have this weird sort of patience, and you can tell when somebody rolls up to a self-checkout machine that they're just not going to do well on a self-checkout machine. And so, and then unfortunately, where I work, it gets plenty of complaints because our self-checkout machines are super picky on the scale side. And people freak out and they go, well, this is different than Walmart's. Walmart's isn't this picky. And it's like, well, then you can go shop at Walmart. You know, I think a lot of people forget about consumer choice, but then, you know, they need to remember why they came to the said store in the first place. But yeah, a lot of just dumb people, I think. Or I don't know if it's... I like to give the benefit of the doubt. I don't know if they're dumb people. I like to think of them they're just not paying enough attention. You know, the shit's going on around them in the world, and they're just not giving enough attention. So, you know, that's always a big thing on the self-checkout machines is, you know, you gotta pay attention. Like, come on. And then there's always the people who overload the singular self-checkout machines, but that's a whole nother issue. That's a whole other thing. But yeah, I don't know. I think we're gonna call it here. I'm pretty much almost already home, so I think we're gonna close it off here. Bookend this one. Maybe another wine cast. I don't know if it's a wine. I don't want to call it another wine cast because that sounds pathetic. But you know, just the grocery store thing I've been dealing with for fucking long enough that, you know, it makes me sound like a big whiner. But I think we had a good discussion on the economy and stuff like that, and that one had been bugging me to get off my chest there for a little bit, just to talk about, because I thought I think it's an interesting idea how speculation and optimism can affect the market without even, you know, just by pure ideas, or just by a pure like idea or like faith in said thing. So yeah, it's strange, but like I said, this is pretty much going to do it for everybody and your grandma's podcast. I've been your host, Damien. This is... what episode is this? This is episode 12. Hey, check that out. 12 episodes deep. Yeah, this is episode 12 of Everybody and Their Grandma's Podcast. I hope you guys have a great week. Bye-bye.